man. I don't have any music, man. I apologize. I'm kind of bummed. One of my loan officers here.
Yep, let's go.
All right, cool, man.
Hey, so welcome everybody. This is basically Realtor Tech Talk. We are going to talk about lots of things throughout all these blab sessions. My name is Justin Lethby. I am the E-Professor. Today's topic is going to be basically, we're kind of hinting at earlier in the pre-session, so to speak. It's going to be a lot about apps and different software solutions that you should be able to use that are low end, Chrome, browser extensions, applications on your phone, maybe some simple desktop solutions, but very minimal stuff, very low cost that I think realtors should be investigating right now to help grow their business. And hopefully that's the same thing that Jason thinks. And Jason, introduce yourself.
Yeah, I'm Jason Bates, host of a podcast here in Phoenix, Arizona called Valley of the Sun Real Estate Show. You can check that out on iTunes, or you can go to my website at www.valleyofthesunrealestateshow and check it out from there. So,
awesome.
Apps, right? Apps are like a big thing, right? There's like an app for everything.
Oh, yeah, everything. For instance, I have an app on my phone called Water Your Body. It reminds me to drink water.
Water Your Body. Okay. All right, cool. Never heard of that one before. Don't you have your own built-in app that's called like your tongue? When you get thirsty, you just drink?
You would think. It's actually been surprising. It's been fairly helpful. It has helped me drink more water than I normally do. So it has been helpful. But I laughed when I saw it too. I'm going, really? I need this reminder?
Yeah. Right.
Come to find out, I actually did need the reminder.
Yeah. Max says we're zombies. I would tend to agree with that a little bit. Okay, so I've got a couple of apps that I've used that I think, and these are more, I think, on the real estate side, realtor side of things. So, and I think we've talked about this a little bit before. HomeSnap is one that I've used and kind of messed around with. Really cool app. You can actually drive by, at least here in Phoenix. I don't know if every marketplace is going to be the same, but here in Phoenix, you can, when you download that app, you can actually drive in front of a home, take a picture of that home, and it will download, or not download, but give you all the public information related to that home, which is really, really cool. And then the second thing, as a realtor, and I can't log into the realtor side of the app because I'm not a realtor, I'm a lender, but it also has a CRM. So it would, like, I had one of my realtors log into the app, and she connected with me as a potential buyer. We played like I was a buyer, and I actually get weekly emails from HomeSnap of homes that have sold in that area, which is really, really cool. It gives you kind of a little bit of a market snapshot of the area that you're looking at. So yeah, HomeSnap. I'm glad you put that link up there. That's a really good app. I like that app.
Yeah, I have been using it for probably the last 6-7 months, and I have generated, probably 2-3 leads, and that was with minimal use. And that was just taking pictures of homes around the area, putting my name in there and doing a couple of things. And I've gotten a couple, a listing and a buyer from it. It's actually been a pretty good tool. Now it's not high, visibility. You got to have people that's going to be there and kind of find it. But if you're on there, especially for any community, I'm in a small community and I can do it. It's going to generate your leads because as far as it goes from a realtor sector, there's very low threshold for realtors in there. So there's not many people there at all.
Yeah, there's not. But the cool, how cool is that? You can just drive up to a house, take a picture of it with your phone, and you have all the information you need. Picture. I mean, it's like, holy cow. It's a little bit almost like Big Brother, I guess. A little bit. It's kind of scary, but it's all right there. It's public information. And I thought it was kind of ingenious, to be quite honest with you.
No, I think it's neat. And it's that one step before augmented reality, right? Eventually, you're going to be able to just put your phone in front of that house, and it's going to do the same thing. This time, you got to take a picture, and it does like some, photo recognition type strategies.
Kind of like a QR code, right? You just, and it takes and sends you everything on that. So I thought that was pretty cool. Hey, another one too that I don't think, and I don't know if this gets played very much, or talked about very much, I should say. What do you think about Street View for Google? I read Street View, and not everybody has this app. Everybody has Google Maps, right? They have that app. But Street View allows you to actually take a picture, a 360-degree picture. And here's my thought on this, Justin. You tell me if I'm way off base. Maybe it won't work. But with that app, you can take a picture of your listing, for example, and then you can put a pin on the map for your listing, and then it showcases your name as that person who took that picture. And when I read the reviews on the app in the Google Play Store, one of the reviews was, "Hey, this is a great app, especially when I was looking for real estate," which I thought to be pretty interesting because I never thought of Street View as an app to help locate real estate.
Yeah, that's an interesting concept. I haven't tried that yet, but it's definitely something I'm going to investigate now because that's something I really haven't entertained as a possibility. What I have seen realtors do, and they got to be careful because every state's different, but I know in Illinois you can't do that. People will take the lazy way out, quote unquote, and they will use that Street View and take a front picture of the house so they can put it in the MLS. That's not allowed.
Well, okay, so but back up there for me. So they take a picture. Now on Street View, you got to take a 360 degree. I mean, it kind of guides you through where you got to put the dot in the right place, and then it kind of merges the picture together for the Street View, so you can actually like look around in your phone, with it. It's not just a single shot. It's not a two-dimensional shot.
No, but what I'm saying is when you're doing it from a desktop, people will do a screen grab when they have it in the right location, and they'll take basically a shortcut, and those aren't allowed because that's not your picture. It's not something you have, right? That's something that's a third-party system.
Yeah, they pirate a picture from somewhere else and put. Okay, gotcha.
And typically, most MLSs, that's a finable offense.
I gotcha. Well, see, there you go. That's why you're a realtor and I'm not, I guess, because I never even thought of that.
Yeah, well, no. So more realtors don't either, and then all of a sudden they get this little request to take that picture down because they can tell that it's a Google Street View picture, and they're going, "That's not allowed." So you just gotta be careful. I do like the idea of trying to take your pictures 360 degree, put it in Street Views, and trying to market yourself as a listing. That's an excellent idea. Not something I've actually entertained before. But that's a good idea.
And I don't know how long those pictures stay up either. But
no, I don't know. I really got to research that.
I mean, if you think about it, if you go to a listing appointment and you had all these dots on a map for a particular neighborhood that maybe you're trying to get into or break into, or maybe that you already kind of, do a lot of your business in, you go to a listing appointment and say, "Hey, look, these are all the houses that I've sold and they're all pinpricked on the map." I mean, I think that would be pretty powerful in justifying that what you're talking about when it comes to that particular neighborhood.
1000% agree. I mean, what I used to do is a different iteration of that because back in the day on Google Maps, you could create your own map and put your markers on that. And I would do the same thing that you're kind of talking about. No, it's a flat view, aerial view, but I can sit there and say boom, 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 have little notes on each area talking about the homes, the neighborhood, things like that. That's back now, but for a while they took it away. Right. So I did things similar, but I like the idea of Street View more from the fact that again, you're creating an experience and not just a viewing prospect, right? You're building an environment you can look around and get a feel for what's happening and kind of envelop yourself in that area.
Yeah, universities do it, right? For students that are, maybe visiting the university or whatever. So yeah, no, I thought it was I never thought of that, but I was reading the reviews and that person said that. I'm like, holy cow, no, what?
Yeah, no, absolutely, and it's a solid idea. It's something that never occurred to me as a solution, but it's a very solid idea, and that's something I'll have to investigate. But that'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see what Google decides to do because, again, with anything, realtors can break things fast.
Yeah, we in our world we tend to abuse things a little bit.
So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. But I like the idea until it gets broken. Take advantage of it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, I'm going to do it.
Absolutely, all day long. I would completely agree. So yeah, those are two solid apps. I love HomeSnap. I think I love that app again from the prospect that for most realtors that's new. People don't hear about it until a client talks to them about it. Get in there, you're going to get early leads, and obviously Street View I think is an awesome solution as well. Which kind of for me goes along a couple of things. Obviously the easiest app you can always talk about is Google Maps because it's probably one of the best driving direction apps that are out there. Plus, What I like about it is when you pick a home, you can do a search and say, show me what's nearby, and it's going to show you the closest restaurants, things like that. So if you don't know the area, you can learn about what's going on in that area.
Right.
And that's what I like it for. I mean, I use maps all the time, but I use it more from the discovery perspective if I'm trying to learn about a neighborhood or an area. So, okay, so the restaurants are here. These get good ratings. Here's what's going on. Especially if it's an area that I'm trying to break into. I'll learn about it really fast.
How important do you think is it for a realtor to have a specific app built for them? Is that important at all?
That bounces back and forth. I would have said 2 years ago, I would have been swearing up and down, yes, have your own app, have your own app. And I'm still not necessarily against an app, but again, I think it goes back to kind of what we've been talking about the last couple sessions. I'm not a big fan of, trying to fight the IDX battle. So I don't want you guys I don't want realtors to have an app so they can search.
Yeah.
If you have one, like your company gives it to you, great, take advantage of it. For instance, in Illinois, we have MRED. MRED gives us an app, and we can share that with clients. Great, take advantage of it. Right. And MRED's our MLS system. But if you're trying to build that and compete, I think you're competing in the wrong area. So if you have things that are going to market your things, like maybe you're going to build an app that is Naperville specific, and it's all about that, and you're going to be the branding behind that, then awesome, do it. If you're going to be Phoenix specific, then I say do that kind of stuff and discover that stuff. If you have a podcast and you're trying to market all the stuff that you're doing within that podcast and be discovered, I think all day that makes a sound solution. But just have a generic app so you have your name out there for discovery? No, I would rather use what Greg showed us last week and do that story app. I think that's a much better solution than having an app and spending the gazillion dollars that you got to spend to have a solid app.
Well, talk about Story App real quick for everybody, because I like that app too, although I'm having some difficulty getting in there. I'll be honest with you. I put my website in there and it's not taking it for some reason, but so I don't know if Greg's around here or not, but if he's out there somewhere, hopefully he'll jump in.
So Story App was discovered by Greg McDaniel. I don't know if it was discovered by him, but he pointed out to us last week in our session. And it's kind of like an about.me, where you can put all your profile information, all your business card information, but it's more like a digital business card. You can put all your contact information, all that stuff out there. You can have a timeline and history board that goes on there. It's actually kind of very, very neat app. But what I like about it and how he suggested it last week is, if I'm trying to talk to somebody and maybe I met Carrie at a function and we wanted to share information back and forth, I don't got to sit there and hand her a business card. And I hate business cards, to be all due candor. I hate them. Yeah. I can say, hey, give me your cell phone number. I can then text story.app/me with my information on the back end, and automatically it's going to give her my business card, and all that information is going to come into the business card. So if it's Google, it's going to come into all the right fields. If it's Apple, it's going to come into all the right fields. And now you got that information available. Now, if you want to look at the website, you can see websites, different comments and feeds you've done through Twitter and Facebook, and it becomes a neat solution. But I love it just from the digital visual business card perspective of it.
Yeah. I like it too. I mean, I haven't used it. I haven't had the opportunity to say, hey, here's my story, check me out, or whatever. I haven't had that opportunity because I'm trying to link my website to it so that you just have, because the way I understood it from Greg was that you just tell them your website or something like that, and then it automatically sends them like a V card, the Story App.
Well, no, what happens is what they're promoting, it's a little different than that. So what they want you to do is they want you to create a website, right? They want you to create like a jbletheby.com, right? And you are going to forward that URL to the Story App website extension, right? So, for instance, mine is this one down below. So mine is story.app/jbletheby. Well, instead of typing all that into a text message, I'd rather just type jbletheby.com, let them click on that. It's going to forward it to that extension that's right there, and that's going to launch it.
Okay. So, but it says that you can do a custom domain.
Yep. And they want you to purchase through them. I wouldn't do that. I would do it through GoDaddy or whatever and just make it simple. Keep everything simple.
Yeah. Yeah. It says use a domain you already own. Well, I tried using my domain.
Did you?
But
did you set it up through them? I would just create a forward. I mean, I would. So like if you got jasonbates.com, I would just, if it's GoDaddy or 1&1 or domain.com, I would just go in there and forward it straight to this email, to that address, and I wouldn't do their steps. I mean, I understand what you're saying. They make it complicated.
Gotcha.
I just wouldn't do it. It's going to do the same thing in the end.
I gotcha. Okay. All right. Makes sense. All right. So yeah, I like that app a lot, man, because it has everything on there. It has your Facebook, all your social media. I mean, it has everything in it, and it's up. Now I didn't check it on the phone. How does it look on the phone? Is it mobile friendly?
Well, it's not really so much that it's mobile friendly, because when I did, Greg basically just asked me to upload the digital data.
Oh, okay. So then it's like a V card.
Yep.
Is basically okay. So you have to go to your web browser then to really see the full effect of the page. Okay.
Because again, this is a simple way of bringing that information in, so you can have that part 2 of the conversation that you want to have.
So then what's the advantage here?
To me, the advantage is I don't got to trade business cards anymore.
So why not just send a V card?
How are you going to do it?
Well, can't you just put your own information in as a contact and then just send it to somebody?
You could export an email through. And that's a good point. You definitely could do that. Most people don't. I would say here's the 2 big reasons. You know what a V card is. I know what a V card is.
Yeah.
I'm going to bet you 60+% of the realtors don't know what a V card is.
Okay.
So telling them, hey, can you export this out and send it to me? They're going to go, can you tell me? Can you help me? Where if you could just teach them to go to story.app and have that, they're going to be there. And now the other advantage is it does simply more than that, but from a phone perspective, now it's just a digital transfer. But from a website perspective, now they get to kind of track you. I don't think it'll ever take off that way, because About.me never took off that way. And people can come to About.me and see all my history.
Right.
So I don't think that part will take off, but I do think the simplicity of story.app .me/whatever is going to be a nice way and a simple way of transferring people's information back and forth. I just think that's going to be a solid way of doing it.
Yeah. I mean, it's nice. I like the format. I like how it looks and all that kind of stuff. I'm struggling with how it actually, because if I can't put my website or something in there or whatever, or if I got to pay my own domain just for the Story app, I don't know. I guess it is cheaper than business cards. Business cards are $25, $50 or whatever. Your domain may only cost you $12 a year or something like that.
Well, and they're doing the freemium model too, right? You can do all this stuff, and if you pay $8 a month, you can get all this extra stuff. I just don't find that necessary right now. The free stuff I think is plenty, and to me, the nice thing about it is, again, at worst, if all I ever use it for is sending somebody to my contact card, I've already gotten more out of it than I intended.
So now another app that I think I use it a lot. I don't know. It's kind of simple, and we've talked about it before. Is Google Keep, right? I love Google Keep. I'm like addicted to Google Keep because I have Post-it notes. I have them everywhere. I'm a Post-it note kind of guy, and Google Keep is the digital version of Post-it notes.
Yes.
And it syncs in with everything because I'm all Google, Android based or whatever. So it all syncs in with everything that I have. So I love Google Keep. And if you're a realtor who's always writing down on Post-it notes, Google Keep is a great alternative.
So besides note taking, do you do anything else with Google Keep?
Not yet. No.
One of the things I do like about it is a pretty good reminder tool, right? You can set reminders up in there, like give you one.
Yeah, it sets the reminders. Yeah,
and I love that perspective of it. Some of the other things, some of the things that are working on, I know, and I don't have it on my phone right now because everything's new and I haven't got that up there. But Google Keep, again, the thing I like about Google Keep that is nice, and most note taking will do this now, like Evernote does the same thing. It's cross-platform, right? So if I write something someplace and I come to the desktop and I launch Keep, it's going to be there. If I have it on my tablet, it's going to be there. And that's what I really like about a lot of apps today. And it's almost, if they don't have it, I think they're way behind the 8 ball. It's cross-syncing platforms, right? It's going to communicate anywhere. And the thing that I love about Evernote and Google Keep and those things is it's also OS independent. They don't care what OS you want to operate in. So you don't have to be in the Google environment if you want to use Google Keep. If you're an Apple person, you still got it.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And sometimes you should be able to, and I haven't tested in a while, but I thought you were supposed to be able to actually write like business card information down on there, and it should then transfer over.
On Google Keep?
I read that somewhere. I don't know if they ever actually made it go live, but I thought, and I have never had a need to test it because I use Evernote to do that.
Gotcha. So here, I want to kind of go into, and stop me if I'm, I think if you're an Apple user, I think the Blab app or any type of live streaming app is a good app to have. What are your thoughts on live streaming apps?
Oh, I think it's kind of a must anymore. I mean, if you're an iPhone user, and this irritates me, basically everybody went live this past week with Facebook Live.
On just Apple?
Just Apple.
Oh my God. Are you serious? Why they got a player hate, man?
So everybody went live on Apple this week that has that. So if you have that little message, you have all those little 4 icons in your status button. There's going to be one that looks kind of like an animation little thing. You click on that and you can broadcast your live to all your peers. So yeah, I think it's necessary because you're going to have moments you got to have these conversations and do something. And I think some sort of live streaming solution is going to be extremely necessary.
Yeah. I mean, just for the open houses, the events that you may attend as a realtor, whatever, the live streaming, I think there's so many applications that are where that can be used and how it can be used. I think it's endless. And so I'm kind of anxiously anticipating an app for the Android for live. Yeah, Periscope. Yeah, we all get that, right? I don't know about Periscope. I'm not sold completely on Periscope or Meerkat. Meerkat, I think, is almost kind of a lost thing now. I don't hear too many people talking about Meerkat at all.
No, Facebook Live is, and I think I've said this before, Facebook Live is going to kill Meerkat. And Periscope, people are predicting what's going to happen with Periscope. And I think you'll see it that we're already starting to see hints of it in Twitter. You're not going to have Periscope anymore. You're just going to have straight live feed from Twitter.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm not sold on a whole Periscope thing or anything yet. This platform, though, I think is really, really good because it has multiple things. And that's the thing about live streaming that's really, I think, difficult is that you have this one-way kind of thing with live streaming, right? With Periscope, yeah, there's some interaction with the chat, but if you get a bunch of hearts and you get a bunch of chat, you end up like being at the top of the screen. You can't even see anything because of all the comments if you're that popular. So it's not friendly, I guess, for lack of a better way of putting it. Or this platform is a little more friendly because the boxes are separated from the actual chat. They don't overlap on one another.
Yeah, but and again, you still don't have a Android solution for this yet.
I know.
No Android. The other one that I would pay attention to is not necessarily live streaming, but I would say it falls closely into this. And actually, one of the agents that I work with found this is Carrie Bay. Appear.in.
Yeah, no, I did that. I did one of those last week, as a matter of fact. Really good, man, really good. But it's like a Google Hangout, just much simpler.
I would agree. But what I like about it is so Google Hangouts will let you do that. But if you want to like share your screen, it takes over your screen. If you want to share the screen in Appear.in, it actually adds another browser. So if you want to go over contracts or whatever, you can have that screen and share your windows, and now you can have that out there. Because one of the things I love about this is, I just got done teaching a class yesterday to a bunch of realtors about DocuSign and how to do e-signatures. And one of the questions always pops up is, how do I tell them where they got to sign and how do I explain this? When I'm sitting in front of them, I can point, okay, here on this line, you got to sign here. Here's what this is telling you. Here's what this is telling you. But if I send it to them electronically, how do you communicate that?
Yeah.
Appear.in is a fairly decent solution for that.
Yeah, it is.
And to be honest with you, if I was a company like .loop or DocuSign, I'd be going after them hard because I think it'd be a great integration to put that right in the middle of the application.
And the quality is really good too. The video quality is really, I mean, it's, I have a pretty decent camera, but the video quality seems to be very, very good. Now, is there an app for that in Android?
Yes, there is for both, actually.
Oh, nice. Okay, well, there you go. So maybe I need to mess around with that app. I wasn't aware of that app. So I'll definitely check that out for sure.
Yeah, now I don't know how like the sharing part of it would go because that's definitely a desktop type application, but it'd definitely be an intriguing situation.
Well, I mean, the only thing with that is it's unlike Blab. Blab is a little more friendly as far as getting the word out through Twitter and Facebook and that sort of thing. Appear. Is it .me? I think it is, right?
Yep. No, Appear.in.
.in. That you have to send the actual people that you want to be in with you. You have to actually send them the actual link.
Yeah, they won't know. I mean, so essentially, anybody, if someone stumbles across it, they can log in. I mean, I had an agent who was trying to do this for WCR, and I party crashed because because she put it on Facebook. So I'm like, okay, that's just I'm gonna mess with her.
Yeah.
So I party crashed and we had some fun for a little bit. Now, luckily enough, I wasn't disturbing anything because she was still waiting. The person, I don't know if they ever showed up or not, but
Right.
she did it on purpose. She knew what she was going to get.
Right.
But yeah, so it's private unless you make it public. Because I've done a couple on Facebook, and I actually like Appear.in. I like how she did it because if we're sitting here doing our things, right? You're sitting there getting ready to prep for a podcast or doing some paperwork for a mortgage. Why not have this out here and say, here for the next hour, I'm going to say ask the mortgager, and I'm just going to have this up and running. Someone can come in at any time, and we'll just do a Q&A session. Right? You could do it here. I just don't think people are going to come in here because they got to create a Twitter account and they got to do these things. Where Appear.in, they don't got to do anything besides hit a link.
Yeah. It's an invitation only kind of thing. That's that's Appear.in. But it is good. The quality is really good. Now you can't. It doesn't have like a repurposing type deal where you can record that and repurpose it somewhere else. At least I didn't see that.
No, I was playing with the odds on that one. I use a tool called Camtasia. I've thought about, okay, how do you do that? How do you sit there and then capture that stuff in case you had a real good conversation about X, right? And you want to make sure you have that material still around. So my solution would be using like Camtasia, where it's just getting recorded and then I can capture what I want. But at the same point in time, you're going to want to have a disclaimer somewhere saying, basically, please understand, this will be recorded for repurposing purposes. Or by clicking into the video, you are essentially accepting that option.
Right. And that's something I don't think that Follow or Full Scope or Catch.me or whatever, I don't think they will capture that, will they? Those apps.
No, not yet anyways. I mean, I would imagine at some point in time, Catch, if Appear picks up, because Appear is fairly new. So I would imagine if Appear starts picking up in Steam, they're going to try to do it because their whole thing is to have value. They got to get cross platforms. They can't just stick with Meerkats and Facebook Lives and that kind of stuff. They got to broaden themselves a little bit if they're going to grow. But why build something if it's only going to last 2 weeks?
Right. Yeah, that's a good one, man. I like that for desktop purposes, and there's definitely some valuable use.
I think that's huge. I love it for contract purposes. Could you imagine trying to have a conversation with a spouse that's sitting at home at lunchtime and the husband? How are you going to have that conversation doing electronic signatures these days? Appear.me would do it. Now, you could also do it in Blab, but again, the problem with Blab is it's an open environment, right? So,
no, you can't do this in Blab. No, this isn't the platform for that.
But if you create an account in Appear, you can only share with people that need to have it, and you're going to have that conversation. And the nice thing about it is, and even here you could do it, but more people can see it. If someone tries to come in and Appear and they don't belong in there, you can boot them.
Oh, you can do that in Appear too?
Yep.
Oh, so how does somebody see? So how is it private then, I guess?
Well, it's definitely going to be private, right? If you're in Appear, the reason it's private is basically linked bait only, right? So if I only have a link, and the only people that know that link are the ones going to access it. Now it's a live website, right? So if somebody accidentally discovered, like if I created appear.in/JB Letheby, and someone just tried it, okay, if I'm on, they're going to get in. But
I got you. Okay, so if they happen to just stumble upon the exact web URL,
right, which is unlikely.
Yeah, unlikely. Okay, gotcha.
There's millions and millions and millions of websites. Now, I do believe if you come into that and create, I haven't done it yet, but I think I read where if you do Appear.in and you actually create an account, you can do more things, like actually create like private rooms. But I haven't gone that far yet because the open one is well enough that that's all I needed.
Yeah, the free one is like phenomenal. I was amazed at the video quality for that. I was really I thought Google Hangouts was like the best, right? Although yesterday I went on Google Hangouts and the video quality wasn't very good.
I think they're doing something because I've seen that a lot lately where I've been on various things, Google Hangouts on airs and stuff like that. And I've seen some things fluctuate. So I'm wondering if they haven't been going through a couple upgrade strategies right now where we're kind of suffering that consequence.
Yeah, there's something going on because it was not. I mean, this quality on this Blab right now is better than what it was on the Google Hangouts.
I think Blab is knocking out of the park as far as quality goes. I like it. Again, as Max was saying, and you have said several times, I can repurpose this audio for a podcast. I can repurpose this audio or video for anything I want, and it's going to be solid. Now, again, if I put it over YouTube, we're going to see a little degradation just because of compression purposes, and that's a totally different conversation. But I think it's good, right? I mean, it's not awesome. It's not
like it's like he said, it's mediocre. It's not where we want it.
But it's from a free solution, it's probably the best solution out there.
Yeah, it's tolerable. Totally. I mean, for what it is, it's good for what it is. No question about it.
And that's what I like. I'm not spending any money.
If you're getting into podcasting and you want to do podcasting and you want to have that as part of as a realtor, have that as part of your media source or your marketing strategy or whatever, there are some good recording apps that are out there that are better than just your recorded, the actual recorder built into your phone. So RecForce is one that I've used. RecForce. That's one that I've used because it has some gain. It has some other things to it. It's free. It's a free app. And the quality seems to be pretty good. And you can take that it'll put it into an MP3, which I think most audio recorders built into the phone do it in WAV format. Mm-hmm. And so this puts it in MP3, which MP3 kind of compresses the audio a little bit, which then it takes up less storage on your phone. Some people would argue that by doing that, it degrades the audio quality a little bit. I don't have that good a hearing where I can hear that. I'm not like a mouse or something where I can hear like, a pin drop somewhere. So for the average person, it's more than sufficient audio quality. So, but if you are, I use it even when I'm out. I'll use it to set reminders. Mm-hmm. I've even started doing that in Google Keep actually, where you can do an audio and it kind of types it out or whatever. But I'll set reminders in there about an idea, some content or whatever. I'll use that to record. You always, when you're out and about, you're always thinking about things or whatever, and thoughts pop into your mind, and then you get sidetracked and you forget that thought. So I use that as a way to capture my thoughts a little bit when I have it. So that's a good app too.
Yeah, no, I like those apps. I haven't tried them, but everything I've heard of from what you're talking about has been really, really pretty solid reviews and pretty solid compliments from them.
Here's the other thing too. It's a good way for you to kind of break in and listen to yourself, especially when you're doing podcasting or any of these blabs, because you're going to be your own worst critic, right? So, I don't like the way I sound, or I don't like this is a way for you to get comfortable with your own voice and hearing it from a speaker rather than your throat. So it's good just to, maybe practice and set yourself some reminders or whatever and do those sort of things. But it is pretty good. And, the audio quality, I will say, Max, on Blab, I got a little props here for Blab. Because the Blab I did on Wednesday night, I record everything on a separate recorder for my podcast as a backup kind of deal. And I was having some difficulty with a gentleman who was using the app for Blab. He was in Houston, Texas, and he was doing this with his phone, back and forth. So the audio was going in and out on it. But Blab actually, I don't know if they're gain or what they did, but they actually captured his audio really, really nicely. So I downloaded that audio from Blab and then did my back end editing on it. Actually turned out better than me recording it from my own computer. So, hats off to Blab on the audio. I thought that was really, really pretty good. So I would agree with you, Max. The audio is really good on Blab.
It's always going to be based on hardware.
They just do a really good job in capturing the audio. They really do.
When they purchased that podcast company, they nailed it out. And I have no idea what that podcast company was or what they did and why they merged into this company. Right. Because what they have done to improve what's going on here has been leaps and bounds. Because it was good in the beginning, but it was not where it's at now. Again, we could be at 5 different levels apart. You could barely hear me. I might have to be, turn you down.
Right.
Whatever the equalizations they do is really pretty strong right now. And it's actually really pretty impressive because that's not an easy concept. I'm, testing the podcast up now with Audacity. And, for me, it's one person. That's fine. But that's not an easy trick just to get me to stay on one level the whole time.
Yeah, exactly.
So
now, are there any good picture apps out there, Justin, for realtors?
pictures as in what? Like as in viewing or as in taking?
Taking. So, is there really? I mean, is that even a good idea? I mean, we've talked about that before, but some cameras, on the phone cameras in particular, take pretty good, pictures. You're always going to get better with DSLR, right? You're always going to get a better shot with that and proper lighting and all that kind of stuff. But are there good apps for realtors out there in regards to taking pictures?
Here's what I would say. If you are here's the first answer. If you're an iPhone user, you just take pictures. You don't even think about it because whatever iPhone does, they do it well, and you don't got to think about it, which irritates the crap out of me because I don't understand why they do so well and every other person struggles with it.
Well, there's a commercial out there, right, for the Galaxy,
right?
It shows the comparison of the Apple versus the Galaxy, and it's a little more enhanced or whatever. The lighting's a little bit better or brighter or whatever. So are there apps out there that kind of can help with
Well,
that,
there are apps. I don't know too many of them because I'm not that picture guy. I'm not, I have a digital snapshot type camera and I take with phone. But what I can tell you is, Lightroom. Thank you. That was what I was trying to think of. Lightroom's actually pretty good.
Now, is that an app for the phone? Is that what that is?
There is a Lightroom app. The other thing that I like from a Google perspective, there's an app called Snapseed. It really does some good post editing after taking the picture. It's pretty solid application. There are certain photos, if you look in there, if like f-stops and all that stuff, you can actually Google inside of the Play Arena and do f-stop, and they will find you some extremely amazing camera applications. But my problem is I don't know enough about that to say, okay, here's the app that's going to say nail it out of the park. I do know when I watch some podcasts that are technology enhanced and that people that really love cameras, they have the apps that they like. Can't think of the names. But I would say if you look for like f-stop, because there's some manual things that can change all that stuff that really does help, especially for low light situations or rooms, or even better yet, nighttime pictures of a house that you're trying to get just at that right time. To be honest with you, what I do is I find an application that lets me do HDR, and I just do it that way.
So Carrie mentioned PicMonkey. I've never heard of that one. PicMonkey.
PicMonkey's solid. It's not so much a picture taking solution, but it's definitely lets you edit. And what I like about PicMonkey is that is an application where if you wanted to create like a Facebook cover banner, right? You can go in there and you can do all sorts of editing and all sorts of craziness that are very cool. PicMonkey, and then another one that's very similar that's also nice is called Canva. And both of those are simple applications. They're kind of like editors, so to speak, but they have more in tune where they're literally just trying to create one-offs for you, and you can create very simple pictures. You can do some basic editing to it, and there's some decent things that way, but they're really designed around picture creation, for lack of better terms, right? They're really designed for you to add things. Like if you look at you go to Professor of Real Estate on Facebook, any of those banners I have, timeline banners, they were all created from either PicMonkey or Canva. And I did it myself. I didn't spend $100 for somebody to create me an amazing drop dead picture. Canva did it for me.
Now what about like, I've never had this, what are your thoughts on these like mortgage calculator deals?
Well, that's where I was going to leave it for you.
Here's my thing. I'm kind of, I don't know. I mean, we want to know the payment. We want to, have that. If you're sitting at a home and you can calculate the payment out and so on and so forth, I guess that's okay. I have an app on my phone, Qualifier Plus too. It's a mortgage calculator, but it's not built in the app. It's a totally separate app. So Qualifier Plus 2 is a good mortgage app for you can add in taxes and insurance and all that kind of stuff. That's the one that I use all the time. But I see that a lot of people try to get like an app and then have within the app a mortgage calculator kind of deal.
Yeah, like
they're trying to have some kind of branding or something next to it. I'm kind of torn on that. The mortgage calculator, it's one of those apps that you use it like 2 times, you find the house and you're done with it. Well, it seems kind of
think about it this way. When you look for a car, are you looking for things? When you look at that stuff, are you looking for someone's messing with me. If you're making the switch, when you go for a car, right, do you go find someone that has a name right next to that picture because you know you're going to get harassed, or you try to find the most anonymous way of searching for something, right? Most people go try to find the most anonymous, hands-off way to search before they're ready. And I like the fact that people have those solutions available, right? Having the mortgage app available. I just don't think that you have those you have them as offshoot tools, as additions to whatever you're adding, right? For you, having a mortgage calculator on a website makes sense, right? If you didn't have a mortgage calculator, what are you doing?
Right.
For me to have it in there, it just needs to be an extension of whatever I'm offering, because I want people to be able to have it if they need it, but not to be there for that, because no one's going to use it. To be honest with you, if I Google mortgage calculator, Google will do it for me, and I don't have to talk to anybody.
Right.
So have it in place as something to use when you have built that relationship. Don't build it so you think people are going to come there and you can generate leads from that business, is what I'm trying to say.
Right.
And that's what people are doing with those apps. They're trying to get, okay, you get this, you're going to get this app, you got to log in and give me your information, then I'll give you all this stuff. No.
So here's one too that I came across, and I'll throw this out there. Zeitgeist, I think is how it's pronounced. That seems like a pretty good app to tell you what the surrounding area, what's happening in and around that area. I think that would be pretty good. What are your thoughts on that one?
Zeitgeist. I love that information. You know, Zeitgeist is huge. Not only will it tell you what's going on around you, you'll see trends and things. That's a huge application. That's a Google application. They bought that a few years ago.
Yeah, that I think is I don't know who Chief Keef is. You can let him in if you want, I suppose.
Maybe. I'm researching.
Researching, see if he's a troll. Chief Keef, are you a troll?
He's got a picture which gives me a shot at it. We'll try. This could be it'll be interesting.
All right. Well, we'll be able to tell.
I just have one question only. I'll be watching it for a couple hours to my other account. Jason, what is your occupation exactly?
I'm a mortgage lender.
Mortgage. Oh, so you have a lot of things to do with like contracts and
Well, it's more a deal with the financing of residential properties.
In which state are you?
In Arizona.
And what jurisdiction does it have?
What jurisdiction?
What does that have to do with anything?
You don't know. You don't know. Oh, I thought you gave mortgage and I mean, I suppose that you know something about law. You have common law. You don't know that? Common law? Like if I ask you what is common law, will you be able to answer my question? Because right now I'm here in this.
I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a lawyer, Chief.
Still, it's nothing about being a lawyer. It's about you're a citizen of that state. You should know some things. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah, I do.
Like what? Wow, you have the Arizona team. Wow, congratulations, dude. I bet.
Thanks, Chief. Have a good day. Have a good one.
Hey,
always a risk.
Thanks, brother.
Bruh, stupid Americans, man. I'm out.
Always a risk. Always a risk.
What is that guy doing, man? Oh well. It happens. It's just the way it is. What about Vert? Have you heard of Vert?
No, I haven't. I'm actually disappointed. I should know.
So Vert is an anything and everything conversion tool. Real estate agents deal with lots of different metric sizes, weight, volume, length, and sometimes even currency. Vert turns your smartphone into an all-in-one converter that fits.
Oh, yeah. I was just reading that the other day. Yeah, I haven't used it, but yeah, that would be neat. From a conversion perspective, trying to understand certain things. But I have not used that one. I was reading that though, actually earlier this week.
Yeah, VERT. So is the name of that app there. Looks pretty cool. I don't know what you would need that for here. Everything's kind of done in, inches and feet and stuff like that, but maybe square foot to, I don't know, changing that to some other kind of.
Well, I mean, you might be able to do acreages and things like that, trying to figure out some of those values from that perspective.
Yep.
Especially for land, it could be a decent solution for that.
Yep. Lot sizes, whatnot. I have this app too, Cam Scanner.
Yes, love that app.
Where you can scan and turn it into a PDF and take a picture or whatever, and and upload them into your phone or whatnot. So that I like that one. I use that quite a bit. So it turns your phone into a scanner, essentially. Now, the other thing, I think it limits the number of pages that you can do at one time, but it does do a fantastic job. All the scans that I've done with that, especially if I'm taking like pay stubs or something like that from somebody who needs their copies back or whatever, and we're out, where we don't have a scanner readily handy, then that works really good, and it comes out really, really clear. And you can adjust actually the area in which you want to have the actual scan. So even if you take a scan and you see like the desktop or something like that, or the top of the car or something like that, you can actually adjust it so it only picks up what you want it to scan, which is pretty nice. So I like Cam Scanner a lot.
Yeah, no, that one's nice. I don't use it for many pages. I usually use it for one-offs that I'm trying to get something done real quick.
Yeah.
I figure if I got to do multiple pages and I go somewhere.
Yeah. I've done 6 pages and it works really good.
Does it? That's good.
Yeah, it does really work really good. And then I email it to myself or something like that. Dropbox, I mean, we all know about these cloud-based type deals. Dropbox is a good one that you can use. There was another one too that's in competition with Dropbox. It has like a hummingbird on it. I forget the name of it. That's very similar to Dropbox.
Dropbox that has a hummingbird.
Well, it's like Dropbox.
No, I know. I'm just trying to think.
And I can't remember the name of it, but it has an emblem of a hummingbird. So that's another one. Dropbox, I kind of filled that one up, and I haven't used it since because I use Google Drive.
Yeah, and that's the problem, right? They all kind of grow with you.
Yeah. So Google Drive is another cloud-based deal that many people don't know about. Now, the cool thing about Google Drive that I will say is that you can create documents within Google Drive. So creating like Excel spreadsheets, Justin, like you've done, we've shared those for this purpose here, where we share, and he can add somebody to it that can edit that file. So you can have a collaboration on one file, even though you're not in the same room kind of deal. So Google Drive is really, really good for that. And I actually used to use Google Drive to create Craigslist ads. Mm-hmm. Because you can do all sorts of things, import pictures, all kinds of stuff within Google Drive, and then you can export it as whatever. I think there's like 5 or 6, a ping file or whatever, pic file, whatever. You can export it however you want, and so it was a really good tool to create Craigslist ads. But that's not really. I guess you can do it on your phone, but it's a phone app because then once I created it on my desktop, then I could access it from my phone.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I the two things I love for Google Drive is this. I love the fact that you hinted at it, collaboration. Me and you can have a document. We do it all the time with these things, right? We have a shared Excel. We have a shared folder, and we have different Excel spreadsheets going the whole time. Mm-hmm. So I love that collaboration perspective. And yeah, Dropbox with Microsoft and other things, they have some of that solution in place. Google's been doing it for a lot longer, so right now I think it's cleaner. Not that they'll stay that way, and we'll see how long that stays, that I like them better. It'll fluctuate. Right. The other thing that I really do, now the thing that I think Drive stinks with is their processing products, their spreadsheet products are behind the game, right? They are limited in what they have. So, to me, it reminds me of like Word 95 if I'm trying to do some editing. Not great. Yeah. Gets the job done. Not great.
Yeah. Yeah.
What I do like about Drive and Dropbox and all these tools is, I can have common files through everything. I was just, again, teaching yesterday in a class. People were like, well, I got to send these same emails out every time. Okay, well, fine. You know what I do? I have those same emails, those templated emails in a Drive document, and I just come into if I'm on a phone, tablet, desktop, I just come in, I copy, paste, and I send it out.
Yeah, no, that is good for that kind of storage. Absolutely. I use that OneDrive too. If you're Microsoft based, OneDrive's the comparable type deal, and it's nice because then it communicates with all computers, right? So it doesn't matter. You log in your Google and you get to your Drive and pull it up from any computer. So if you're on vacation or whatever, it's a good place to store that sort of stuff and then be able to access it and not have it on a flash drive or something like that. I know you've talked about this before, Dotloop. I don't think you've spoken of it here today or whatever, but Dotloop seems to be a pretty good app for realtors.
Yeah, so .loop is very much like DocuSign. It's an e-signature based application where you have the ability to bring documents in there, send them to your clients, get them signed, send them over to the other agent, have him add his clients to it, and have them sign. And now you have a transaction in place where everybody's talking one at a time. Solid tool. It's, again, very much like DocuSign. The difference that I would say is DocuSign is designed for every industry, so they have a lot more rules and things they have to follow, where DocuSign or .loop is designed only for realtors, right? It's real estate based transactions. So both have their positive negatives. You can talk about it either way you want. I'm not going to say there's one better than the other. I'm just going to say you pick one and learn it, because I think e-signatures are where it's at. I have taught a lot more classes already in January of this year than I did all of last year with signature based stuff. So that's definitely coming to play this year in a major way. So one of our predictions for 2016 should have been signatures.
So now, okay, so signatures, you're meaning the actual ability to sign. Okay. So like, what about like, I've seen one that's like, is it PDF Scape or something like that? And Sign Easy or something like that?
Yeah, they're all solid tools, and they all have some solutions for them. The thing you have to be careful about, especially from a real estate perspective, DocuSign and .loop have gone through protocols to make sure they have followed all the laws necessary for them. These other tools have not necessarily. They're making an assumption that I'm just in front of you, I'm sending a document, they're signing. You know, will they hold? Maybe.
Right.
But you can't guarantee it, right? .loop and DocuSign, when you send documents, you are not only capturing email addresses, you're capturing time, you're capturing hardware and IP addresses. So it's a hard thing to refute that you weren't the one signing, or somebody that represents you wasn't signing.
Gotcha.
Where some of these other tools are great and very helpful. I have done it in the past, not from a real estate perspective, but from other things where I've signed them and they're nice. PDFs, easy, Sign Easy, I think are great tools. I think they have a place. I would just say from a realtor perspective, you need to investigate them pretty hard to make sure they have all the appropriate checks in place to make sure that they hold up. Because someone could sign and say, it wasn't me. What are you going to do?
Yeah, exactly. There could be troublesome there. So I think we covered quite a few apps. I mean, what do you think here?
Yeah, we put a ton down, but I didn't expect to get through a third of them, and I think we did a half of them. The only thing I do want to point out, there are two things I want to point out real quick to kind of end by, is one of the things that we always forget when we talk about apps is we talk mobile apps and things like that. One of the things to always think about is web browser extensions. Right? Yeah. And there's all sorts of solutions in place there. I only picked a couple because I do like them. They've been extremely helpful for me. I like two real neat applications. One is called it's called The Great Suspender. And the other one is called Strict Workflow. So the Great Suspender is when I'm in a browser, so I can have 15 tabs up, but the only one that's going to be active is the one that I'm in. The rest will be kind of in a sleep state, so to speak.
Okay.
So it helps with CPU usage and you get more out of it. So, for instance, like when you were talking the other day, how you had to turn everything down to be able to use XSplit. The Great Suspender might help to satisfy some of that because all the other resources are only going for the applications that are actually being used at that moment.
Yeah, it's exactly what I was thinking. So, okay. So Great Suspender. Yep. And that's a web extension.
Yep. Now I don't know for Firefox for sure, but I do know Chrome has it because I'm mostly in Chrome anymore. The other one I like is called Strict Workflow. And if anybody's familiar with the Pomodoro philosophy, it's basically what that is you spend so much time at one time, right? So you spend 15 minutes working on a project. You take a 5-minute break. You come back, do 15 minutes of projects, 5-minute break. You kind of do it this way. And then after an hour, you kind of change to a new project type of thing. Hey, thanks. Okay. What's his name?
So, okay, say that one more time, Justin, because I want to make sure I get that. So explain that, what you just said again.
Yeah. So basically Pomodoro method is essentially, it's this. I can set a timer in there, 15, 30 minutes, and you do whatever work. You just focus on that. There's nothing else on the screen. There's nothing else going on. I can't go to Facebook. I can't go to Twitter. I can't go to Gmail. I can't go to whatever I decide I don't want to go to. and I'm working on X, whatever it is, building my podcast, building whatever material I got to build, whatever it is. And then then you take a 5-minute break and you get up, walk around, go get tea, go get a redo. You come back, it's 30 minutes. You come back and do 5 minutes. Now the time is irrelevant. Really, I shouldn't say it's irrelevant, but that time can fluctuate, right? It doesn't have to be 35. And then after a while, what you're supposed to do is spend, once you do that for like an hour, maybe 2 hours, okay, now you're done with that particular project or that time you set for that project. Now you come back to the next project and do that same iterations, right? How that works in the strict workflow world is, I'm not going to hit it right now, I'm tempted, but I'll lose you, is if I hit the button, all my tabs that aren't affecting what I am doing right now, they go away. They're there, but if I would click on them, there would be a big banner saying, can't access this for the next 30 minutes because you said no.
So it basically forces, it's a time management thing. It forces you to work and focus on what you're doing, not get distracted. And, it's a delicate balance, right? Especially from a technology, real estate perspective, we're realtors. We need to be in touch with Facebook. We need to be in touch with these things, but we don't have to be in touch with them every second of every minute of every day.
Right. Yes, Max, who's no discipline. By the way, that's me. And that's exactly why I do it, because I know I can get caught up in that junk all day long.
Right.
And so what I do is I'll turn that on when I got to focus on things. For instance, this afternoon, that'll get activated 2-3 times throughout the thing, and I'll go through and I'll just be done. And it helps to go through and we're doing these things, and realtors fall into that in a major way. Realtors mostly are a very high I, which is a DISC profile thing, very high I, easily distracted, chase the shiny object personality. So having these type of things are extremely helpful, because even if you wanted to go to it, you couldn't go to it until the time is up. There are very little exceptions besides uninstalling the app. Now, are there ways around it? Yeah. I mean, if I have my phone, I can go and look at Facebook real quick. But hopefully you have enough discipline that you can say, okay, I'm here. I'm not worrying about that. I'm just doing this. And really the answer is there's similar apps for the phone that do the same thing.
Nice. Okay. Well, I get that. I'm kind of like, my wife calls me Butters, or what does she call me? Bubbles and Butterfly. Because I'm always like, my attention's like all over the place.
Well,
so that's a good app for me.
I'm completely that way, and I totally understand it. And yes, that is why you should not have a computer while you're making phone calls. And I love it for that, right? You could turn that down, only have your CRM application up, and you could just be making phone calls and nothing else. You can't go to Facebook, you can't answer your email, you can't answer text, you can't do that stuff, and it's good, right? All that stuff is away. And realtors fall into that all the time, because there's another shiny object that's more fun to play with than doing what we got to do to grow business.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a good idea too, man.
I think we covered just about everything.
Right? Oh, more than I thought we would, to be completely honest with you. I put so much stuff out there, I was starting to go, okay, I got to stop, because we're ain't going to get through a tenth of it.
Right. So, all right, cool. Well, thanks, Carrie, for being here. Appreciate that, you being here and being a part of it. Max, as always, thank you for the support, buddy. Sorry I didn't make your blab yesterday, man. I think it was yesterday. I think.
What time's your blab, Max? Let me know. I'll put it out here.
Yeah. So, I always like Max's blabs too, because he does some financial predictions and stuff like that. So, did you not have it yesterday? You're going to have it today? Yep. 3 p.m. today. Okay, cool. Then I'll check it out for sure today. So I'll definitely check that out and be there.
Yeah, I'll definitely try too. I should be back from all my appointments.
Hours.
If you guys looking to say anything, Carrie, specifically, since you're a realtor, Max, even that'd be good ideas. If you guys want to hear things from us, I just put a link into a Google survey. By the way, another great app, by the way.
Yeah.
To use.
Yeah.
Put that out there. Fill it out for us. We're gladly to talk about topics, anything you guys want to hear about. I am working. I can't make promises yet. I'm trying to get a fellow realtor that is going to talk big data for us and how we can use that for our business. And that'll either be next session or the one after. I'm trying to work scheduling out on that. And I do think big data is something we got to pay attention to from a real estate, because it goes right with your zeitgeist thing. Big data is huge right now.
Yeah, exactly. It's hard. Like I heard one realtor, and I don't know how this works there in Chicago or in Illinois or in Connecticut where Max is at or anywhere. But here, I have people that, well, myself in particular too, I asked for the realtor to get me like an average, and I don't know if this is even part of those apps, but I asked for like, what's the average electric bill? What's the average gas bill for this particular house? Is that information accessible anywhere? Because they've made it kind of difficult here to get that information.
Yeah, see, that's regional. Sometimes you can find it, sometimes you can't. It's so depending on what people are sharing.
Would that Geist app or whatever that is, would that be able to pull that data?
It would be able to pull some of it. The problem is that I always worry about that particular kind of data is one simple factor, and that really relies on two things. One, is it even out there? And two, who's making that data available, right? So sometimes the quality is a big concern from that perspective.
Well, see, that's they've like before you could actually get that from the actual electric company or whatever or gas company, but they're not giving that information out anymore. At least here,
no.
I'm aware of.
Well, to me, it's regional. Like if you come out to me in the boonies, that information is almost impossible to get. If you come out to certain suburbs, it becomes a little bit easier to pull that data from. But it's so regional that I can't tell you for sure across the board everywhere in the United States that, if you use the utility bill zeitgeist, well, you'll get the information. One, you may get it, and two, I wouldn't want to trust that data alone.
Gotcha. So big data or whatever, is it data or data?
I don't know. I say both, depending on what mood I'm in that day.
Tomato. So getting that big data stuff, what exactly does that Geist app, what does it actually pull?
It's going to just pull common trends, things like that. Yeah, that ain't happening. We're not.
I don't know who.
Lesson learned. So the way I understand, I haven't used it in a while, but when I was first doing it, was trends, right? So you get to learn what's going on in that area. You can learn the hot trends that are happening in certain areas. You can do various searches on it. Now, I'll be honest with you. When they first got it, that's all it was trends. But I know they have added things, and I've got to look at it again to see what else they've added to it.
Yeah.
But it's supposed to be more than just trending topic. It's supposed to be, you should be able to do research like that, where you're talking, I want to learn about the area and tell me, the most common questions asked, and I can give you that information. But I haven't tested that to find out if that's actually the case or not.
So now I thought in that app too that it will tell you the demographics area.
Supposed to.
So like if it's Democratic, Republican, whatever.
Yep.
I guess that takes it from the registered voters, I suppose, in the area.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to take it from the census report, right? That's every 10 years. So again, you got to keep in mind that data may not be 100% accurate, but it's pulling census data to give you that information.
Well, I guess that's a good thing or a bad thing, right? I mean, I don't know. I mean,
it's an interesting thing, right? Because I live in a university town, so that zeitgeist does not necessarily represent the populace. It represents the populace when it was taken. Now, did it get college kids? Did it not? Are they all the time here? So it's interesting to see what's going on and how that data is being pulled. But at least it's going to give you a feel for what's going on.
Right.
But the problem becomes, depending on when it's getting done and how you're pulling it, it becomes a question mark. But again, I don't mind it from a learning perspective. That's what we're here for real estate for. We can give them a better understanding what's going on because that's what we do every day.
Right. So, hey, Greg's in the room now. So I don't know, Greg, if you want to jump in, you're more than welcome. Max, if you want to jump in, buddy, you're more than welcome to jump in as well, man. Either one of you. We're just talking about some apps and stuff like that that realtors were using. Hey, Greg. Hey, guy.
You can't say whatever it was. I already mentioned it. Story app.
Dang it. Well, there goes my kidding abilities today. I'm done. What do you guys think about the Canvas aspect of Facebook ads that they rolled out?
They just rolled out. I heard some other people talking about this.
Yeah. I'm going to get your guys' opinion on that.
I haven't even seen it, but apparently it gets a little bit more involved than just a regular ad deal.
Yeah. Right? Hold on. I'll send you guys a link on this. Because I was just messing around with it. Here. Now it's not cheap. Let me put it that way. But message.
They're promising better returns, aren't they?
Yeah, but it's definitely more expensive as well. But it's supposed to look awesome because it eats up like your entire news feed. I'm bad. I mean,
it's not just to friends either, right? It's like the whole demographic, whatever you pick.
Right, and that's the other thing about Facebook. What they rolled out is that you can do like audience optimization now, so you can have preferred audiences and audience restrictions and audience insights, and you would used to have to pay for that. But now they're making it just part of your posts, which I just heard about this morning. And I'm going to dive into that because that's incredibly powerful for us.
Yeah.
You know, friends of friends, things that they like, pages they like. So if we have a bunch of, if someone's sitting at home and they're like, I like all this real estate stuff. Well, we definitely want to talk to them.
Right. Right.
Or if they're a real estate agent, we might want to talk to them.
I just heard, what was it, on Wednesday or something? It was on the news, actually. It was a headline. That Facebook is slowly closing that gap to Google Ads in terms of revenue. Because
I wouldn't doubt it. Yeah.
Posted a fourth quarter earning or something like that.
Over $1 billion, yeah.
Yeah, that was really, really good, higher than expected, and they're starting to close the gap to Google Ads in their paid advertising, I guess.
Yeah, they their first round. Hold on, I had that article sent to me, but they said like 83% of their revenue in that quarter was from mobile.
From mobile ads?
From mobile ads. And that was the big thing when they went IPO. Everyone's like, they can't monetize it. They're never going to get it. Well, They're not laughing anymore.
Yeah, no kidding, man. I mean, it's crazy. Well, here's the thing too, that everybody I've talked to who does a lot of this Facebook and some of these advertising, SEO, whatever, gurus in this arena, they say Facebook does a really good job. And when you say that you're going to target, 18 to 24-year-olds, that it actually hits 18 to 24-year-olds. And if it's only male or female, I mean, they really got it nailed down as far as the algorithm of the target audience you're trying to go after.
And they're getting even more refined. And that's the best part about it. I don't know. Here's the ad. Mobile ads accounted for 80% of Facebook's ad revenue in the fourth quarter. 3 years ago, mobile ad revenue accounted for just 20%. Wow. That is stupid.
20%. Now it's 80%?
80%.
That's unbelievable, man.
It's unbelievable.
Can't you tell?
Yeah. That's unbelievable.
I mean, we live on these things.
Yeah, and Max is saying that Google's prices are coming down and things like that. The competition in Google is just ridiculous. Especially for the keywords and stuff that we want to use, right? So it gets pretty difficult. For Facebook, it seems relatively still inexpensive.
It is because you can do the posts. You don't have to do the ads. The ads for us are expensive. We're like Southern California pricing up here in NorCal. So what we're doing is I'm encouraging people to go make a unique video and boosting it out for $5.
Yeah,
a day. And I had a guy, Ricky, that was in one of my last training classes, and he did it, and he generated like 5 leads off of $5. I'm like, $1 a lead? That's the best return ever.
Exactly. I did the same thing on Facebook for the podcast. I did an ad for the podcast. I spent $5 for 1 week, and I got 1,400 hits on it. I got I think it was 10 website clicks. I just threw it out there as an experiment. And I got 10 website clicks on it, which I thought was pretty good.
Yeah.
Two things on that, actually. One thing you want to make sure of, Facebook is starting to crack down a bit. When you're doing the ads, they don't want to send people to your website. It's supposed to go to your Facebook business page. So just FYI, if you keep doing too much.
Well, when you say crack down, what are they doing?
They can basically just close it down. They won't do your ads anymore. I don't think they've actually kicked anybody off of the platform completely, but just something to be aware of.
Okay.
But the other aspect about it, so I mean, I have a gun forum that I started 9 years ago. So one of the things that we've had on there is Google Ads. One of the things that's basically been happening is when you think about it, well, Google is doing really, really good, and they can target the people who are searching specific keywords. But the reason why Twitter and Facebook have so much more potential, particularly also LinkedIn, is they don't really need any algorithms. All they basically need is for you to tell them, hey, I'm looking for 18 to 20-year-olds in 10-mile radius of this area who have hobbies, they're this or that. All we're doing is we're just going and date and funneling all of the profiles that they have, because I mean, hell, everybody puts, hey, this is my age, this is where I'm checking in from, this is everywhere that's there. So I mean, that's why we're still charging a little bit more for it, but I think the rates are going to start coming down quite a bit as well.
Have to.
They have to. I mean, they're going to end up doing it anyway. But right now, I mean, Facebook was the first one who actually started mining the information that much. I mean, you do have LinkedIn, which has been doing it as well, but I mean, we're catering to a completely different clientele in that regard. But with Facebook, I mean, it's coming down, but keep in mind, the average age of a Facebook user is going up as well. And I mean, I just noticed that I go on Facebook once a day to post something on my business page, but I don't really spend any time looking at the garbage that people post on there. And there's been so many more ads, though. I mean, there's been so much more ads on Facebook that I wish one of the ad blockers would actually start blocking the Facebook ads.
Now, Facebook ads, they're on the side, right?
Well, they're on the side, but there's a lot more sponsor type ads that show up right in the news feed.
Yeah.
Anybody that's going to do an ad right now, if they know what they're doing, is going to be in the news feed. They're not going to be on the right hand side. They're going to do that for just generic pull-offs. Most realtors, when I teach them, I tell them to do sponsored ads, and they're coming right in the middle of the news feed.
Yeah.
Well, I think one of my friends, he's a realtor here in Jersey, and I mean, he's had a lot of success with it. And I still think basically the best way of going about it with Facebook is kind of create like a Facebook local user group. So he created Facebook Central Jersey Parents, and there's like 8,000 members or so. And then basically he's the group admin. He has everybody's contact information. Once a week or so, he'll post like a new listing. Then he started a Central Jersey Realtors. So it's for realtors. They have a very little hoopla. And then he started also one for the Russian American group. So I think really the best place to start going after and targeting is through Facebook groups, rather than just basically just general stuff. Because I think you're going to get a little bit better return on your money that way.
So now, Greg, you posted there the Just Listed Social, whatever.
Yeah.
Or whatever. That's a company that will do the ads for you. Is that what that is?
Yeah, they'll do everything for you. We're going to start this, but I mean, I think they're a little expensive. You scroll down, 3 days is $99, 7 is $199, and then 14 days is $349. But they give examples of what the ads are. You know, if you were to spend $200 for 7 days and have a social, you know, their little algorithm pulls people, quote unquote, most likely to be making a move based upon a few different factors. It's like digital door knocking.
Yeah, exactly, man.
And if you were to do postcards for $200, you wouldn't get a fraction of that return, and it sure shit wouldn't last 7 days.
Right.
Not
happening. Now, is this to showcase just properties, or can you showcase anything?
So for that one, I think it's like just old stuff. But the social PR one, that one, we did sign up for this one. And what it does is they go grab like some testimonials about you. They put an image on the side, and then it looks as if a friend had forwarded or put this into the news feed. And then so it's like social compliments or social, you know, they're giving you props out in public. We started a couple of days ago. We haven't seen any return on it yet, but I'm not expecting anything.
I just think so. I mean, I haven't done the realtor ads. I don't know about those, but what I can tell you is though, from looking at their conversion rates that they're assuming. So yeah, I mean, you can have, so like for example, a 3-day campaign for the first one, they did 2,570 views, 209 clicks, which is doable, but 14 leads out of it. Well, it's going to be dependent on your definition of what a lead is.
Exactly.
How qualified it's going to be. So I think if that's a little.
Well, they're respondents. They're respondents. They're not leads. You turn them into leads once you convert them. That's where a lot of people go wrong on that. but they're I just posted another link from Social Media Examiner with the top 10 social media blogs. Be careful with this, guys. It's like drinking through a fire hose.
He puts a lot of information out.
Yeah, put a ton of information out, and it's just like I started clicking through one of them. I was like, Amigo Plus right here or something like that, and it's just holy crap. I mean, there's so much stuff to learn.
Yeah, there's a shit ton, man.
God,
there's definitely a shit ton on this.
Hire an 18-year-old.
Yeah.
That actually, I've been reading this book called Bold by Diamandis. And they're talking a lot about crowdfunding, crowdsourcing, freelancer.com. And I was starting to think, how can we use this in real estate, to do freelancing? We all know about Fiverr.com and stuff like that. But what if we were taking it out to the millions of people around the globe and have them come up with like real estate forecasts for our hyper local areas, or predictions of the most likely buyers or sellers in our demographic based upon historical data. Stuff like that. So we stop guessing, we stop reading other people's work. We actually get like a PhD in mathematics to go out there and really work the numbers and do it for relatively very inexpensive.
Well, we have that here locally. We have a Cromford report is what we have.
Mm-hmm.
It's a paid deal, but the University of Arizona has a whole, I don't know, it's WP Carey's School of Business, and they have a whole real estate section. And they do that. They break down the numbers and then they sell that report. I think it's like $25 a month or something like that. So local universities may already have some of that data already kind of fine-tuned out, and they give some predictions and things like that and what to look out for and stuff. I actually refer to them quite often about our local market.
Really?
So, yeah, your university may have something similar to that.
We have Berkeley. I mean, I'm assuming Berkeley would have something if anyone was.
Yeah. Their business school or whatever, you check with them and see if they have a real estate division that's kind of dedicated to the local market.
That is, by the way, what I'm trying to get Carrie Bay. She's an agent in our area, and she did a whole master's degree basically on marketing and big data. So I'm trying to get her to do one of the labs with me so she can kind of talk about that, because I think there are solutions out there that we could probably do on our own.
Yeah, I that was just me just kind of thinking through stuff. But I mean, the opportunity there to crowdsource, I mean, this is something that I'm thinking about doing, is going to go out and crowdsource. But I'm going to go out and have some of these marketing, just absolute grandmaster ninja geniuses build marketing funnels for high tech and high touch, blending them off of the disc profiles.
Mm-hmm.
It's just literally here, $199. You own this. You can do what you want with it now. You don't have to invent anything. Just go. I learned a lot about that
for other agents, right? Like,
yeah.
So you kind of put it in layman's terms or whatever, so they can be more informed about their market.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. There's just so much. What do you think about crowdsourcing or crowdfunding in our industry?
We're behind the game.
Yeah. Crowdfunding though, I mean, there is a big, like apartment complexes and things like that. Is that what you're talking about? Like where people put money together to purchase and have their own stake in a development or whatever?
Yeah. Jay Samit did the first commercial crowdfunding. The author of Disrupt You. And it was successful.
I think it's going to be huge. I mean, it's another way to diversify yourself and get into the commercial real estate without having the full exposure of the total investment on your shoulders.
Yeah, but it's a bunch of bullshit. It's a market that's ripe with abuse. So actually, I dealt.
There is
one
abuse.
of the things I work with is alternative investments. So we deal with a lot of the non-traded real estate investment trusts, private placements, and all that stuff. One of the things that we are working with is you do have a lot of the real estate crowdfunding platforms, and you do have the Jobs Act that basically came out, which is going to allow pretty much anybody over the internet to raise money for a real estate project. The issue that basically opens up, yes, it does open up capital, but the quality of sponsors or the quality of the people that are raising money for real estate is falling completely down, because now any idiot who wants to come out and say, hey, you know what, I want to go buy this commercial property and I'm willing to pay somebody an 8% or 9 or 10% rate of return on it, they're able to go out there and raise money even though this person has no background or no experience with it. So kind of like what we had in Florida and Arizona and California, where people who worked at Home Depot part-time, but they're able to get 3 houses on option arm mortgages. The same thing that's basically starting to happen in the crowd-funded real estate space. And we're seeing it, and it's basically as soon as some of the first one's going to start blowing up, people are going to look at it. And what I can tell you is FINRA and SEC, they're looking at this deeply. They're completely against it. Because basically what Obama did was, I mean, the original intent of the Jobs Act was to create more jobs. But a lot of the people who are raising money for real estate, they kind of basically found that, hey, you know what? Instead of spending $1 million to come out with a good, solid offering, now we can go out there and for $5,000, or we can give somebody a cut of it, we can start raising money on the internet. So there are FINRA and the SEC, they're completely against this. Like, they're fighting it tooth and nail the entire time. And they're going after those platforms. But I think the best one about it, so if you watch Shark Tank, there was an episode, I think maybe last season.
I love Shark Tank.
Where a guy came on Shark Tank to sell his crowdfunding real estate site, and Mark Cuban got him out. Nope, don't want anything to deal with it. So the other is like, well, come on, give this guy a chance. And they asked him, okay, so what'd you raise money for? He's like, oh, well, we've done one successful offering, and that was somebody was converting a garage out of her house.
Yeah.
And that was an offering.
I saw that one, but crowdsourcing in China is
That's
big.
going to be completely different.
That's big business, right?
Well,
but
crowdsourcing versus crowdfunding. So, I mean, crowdsourcing, I think it's phenomenal. I think you're going to be able to get micro, local area news that you're looking for. The information is going to be right there. So I think that's going to be completely different. I think that from the crowdfunding side of it. So,
gotcha. Well, I mean, I until they get it regulated a little bit more, it's kind of like that Rocket Mortgage right now. It's a little bit of an unknown right now.
The what? Educate me.
The Rocket Mortgage. You haven't seen it on the playoff, or you may not watch football. Where Quicken Loans has a mortgage that they make a decision on in 8 seconds or less.
What?
Yeah, you haven't heard that?
That cannot be good.
I've seen a commercial, but I don't know anything about it.
Now, it's called the Rocket Mortgage because it takes a rocket 8 seconds to leave Earth's atmosphere. So that's the whole idea on the Rocket Mortgage deal. So
does your debt.
Yeah, so does your debt. But yeah, that's, everybody's trying to build a better mousetrap, right? So there's people who are going to be out there experimenting in crowdsourcing, crowdfunding for real estate. At some point, they're going to hit a home run, I think.
So here's actually one of the professors that's part of our organization, Ken Johnson. He's Florida International University. He does a report. So him and his entire team of undergrads who basically work for him, they kind of have this index of rent or buy, and they've been pretty much spot on. So they track a lot of the areas on a basically on a city level to basically figure out whether it's a renting or a buying cycle. So I linked a presentation, his last one. He keeps updating it. All of that data basically is there. It's free. Definitely look at it.
Is that specific to Florida, or is that
everywhere? No, they track the entire country.
Really?
Yep. Like I said, he's always one of the keynotes. Well, not a keynote, but he's one of the head speakers at pretty much all of the organizational meetings that we do. for real estate. I mean, like basically this guy's taken seriously, and like he's been pretty much spot on. So if you click on the link, it's going to give you his current one. I think second to last, like slide 13. He basically has a map of where prices are completely nuts.
It's kind of small. I gotta get on my glasses.
I think you should be able to download it, and then you can actually zoom in on it. Actually, you can zoom in.
Whoa, just made it bigger.
I can't. California's yellow, Arizona's red.
Yep,
Illinois is red.
really
Of course,
red.
Illinois is red.
What does that mean? I can't read that.
So basically, over undervaluation in terms of mortgage to payment to income per capita. How much people are spending over income on a mortgage payment?
Well, I just did a thing on that, a podcast on it, because Julian Castro just spoke about that at Google up there in Northern California at Google headquarters. They do that Google Talk deal. I don't know if you've ever seen those, kind of like TED Talk or whatever. And Julian Castro said that, you know, this country has a huge affordable housing problem.
Mm-hmm.
Most people are spending over a third of their income on just rent. And in San Francisco, Greg, I mean, some of the people there were like, hey, I'm tired of seeing all these homeless people camping out underneath bridges and stuff, and, you know, tents popping up in, you know, parks and stuff like that because they can't afford to be in a house.
Yeah, no, there's a report that only 14% of the people in our area can actually afford their home, which is really sad. And I have conversations with sellers on the phone, and they say, Greg, I'd love to sell, but I could never afford to buy my own home again. And I'm like, that we're so over there. We've lost our marbles here in Northern California in regards to pricing. It's stupid. I mean, we have POSs of homes selling for nearly $700,000. Like, you got to gut everything.
Yeah.
And, you know, then you have, you know, properties selling for $2, $3, $4+ million homes they're pretty good. But if you went to the Midwest, they'd be 500,000.
Right.
And
Or 200,000.
huh?
Or 200,000.
Or 200,000. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. That's the part
Exactly.
that, I mean, it frankly pisses me off a little bit, because all the people that are my generation, look, I'll take your money. I have no problem. I'll help you sell a house. I'll put you in debt. No problem. But, you know, what are we going to do when people can't afford them? The market's going to correct. Interest, you know, everyone's going to go, holy crap, the sky is falling. Everyone's going to freak out again. But it's going to have to happen. I want it to happen. I would love to see a reduction in prices. For 2 years, I'd like to see a price slow, not like this, but just, you know, whoop, just a little tick. You know, maybe 3% for 2 years. Take me down 6%. You know, let's ease this up. Let's get everybody our affordability indexes, you know, changing. Let's get the incomes coming back up. We have so many tech jobs. People should be making a lot more money out here. Let's even the playing field. Everyone that can't get into those careers, they're going so far east. They're driving 2 hours to work, 2 hours from work, and that is not a quality of life scale.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't care. It's
And
just,
New York just as bad, right? I mean, New York is crazy.
yeah.
Well, depends. New York City is absolutely crazy. But I mean, you actually have all those new condos that they're building. The vacancy rates are actually going up a bit there. So they are looking into that area. I mean, Jersey was fairly stable. I mean, like when you had the massive run up, you didn't really have a lot of run up here. But people will still go into the suburbia. But here's the thing, though. Is like, I mean, you don't need to. Mass transit is phenomenal here. That if you work in the city, like, so for example, my brother worked in the city, but he lived in Pennsylvania. And like right outside of Philly. I mean, from outside of Philly, he can get to his Midtown office in about an hour 20 on the train. So, I mean, most people are just like,
Different types of transportation there.
yeah. I mean, here's the thing is, I mean, most people who commute in one of the cities, so like Princeton, more than 70% of the people who live in Princeton, they work in the city. During September 11th, it's like we lost a ton of people, and it's mostly people who just commute in the city by train.
I've read a report, though, a lot of Wall Street guys moved to Miami and they just telecommute.
Yes. Well, the reason why, there's actually one of the Bloomberg reports, but if, let's say, for example, if you work in the financial industry or you have a hedge fund, if you make $1 million a year for your hedge fund in New York City, by moving your offices to Boca, you'll save $300,000 a year on taxes.
Crazy.
Because well, here's the thing, though, what most people don't realize is, so yes, you have the federal income taxes. Then in most states, you have the state income tax. But in New York City, you also have the city tax.
Yeah, exactly.
So
it was in Columbus, Ohio, too. You had the city tax.
but the New York City tax is actually fairly high. And then once again, though, you're paying it at multiple levels. Let's say, for example, if your business is in the city and then you also live in the city, it's double taxation on most of the stuff anyway.
Yeah.
So that's part of the reason why we're looking at Florida.
You're moving to Florida?
We were looking at Florida.
Come to Arizona, dude. You don't want to go where all the old people are in Florida.
We had 4
Chase
clients
Craig out.
last year move to Florida.
You
Young
have-
clients.
oh, gotcha. Oh, well, then, yeah, you got to do what you got to do.
And there's like white crap outside.
Yeah, that white snow. Dude, you got like Janus Snow Apocalypse, or what was that thing called?
Snowpocalypse?
No, Snow Apocalypse. What wasn't it called?
Jonas.
Yeah, Jonas. There you go. Why Jonas, man? Is that part of the Fab Five or whatever I don't know, that band? Isn't it Jonas?
Jonas Brothers? I don't know.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. Well, that was crazy, dude. How much did you get? 2 feet? 3 feet?
We got about 24 inches.
Yeah, 2 feet. That's crazy, man.
DC got worse. But there's still some places in Queens where the roads have not been plowed yet, apparently.
Wow, a week later, right?
More than that.
Baltimore. I have a friend in Baltimore. She said they got 34 inches or something like that.
Well, the problem is Baltimore.
Well, okay. Yeah, Baltimore can be a rough town. So can Philly, right?
Philly's not that bad. Baltimore is horrible. Like it's rough. Listen, I grew up in the ghettos of New Jersey, like in Elizabeth, Newark, and I felt uncomfortable in Baltimore.
Yeah.
But I bet you real estate is cheap there in those parts of town.
The West Coast, all things considered, for the West Coast, Arizona, considered West Coast, Phoenix, it's pretty cheap here, man. We got it pretty good.
Is it?
Oh,
The prices didn't like really shoot back up, or no?
They did. Prices did rebound dramatically. But, we're about, depending on, the lot size and all that kind of stuff. And the lower price, we're at about $100 a square foot right now.
Oh, that's not bad.
Which isn't bad. When you consider, in California, you're $300 a square foot. The taxes here are really low. Property taxes are really low. They're about 1% of the value of the home, which is really low. But we just don't have some of the problems that you guys have, right? So that's why our taxes are low. We don't have 2 feet of snow that you got to remove, and that's paid by, tax dollars. We don't have those sort of issues. We don't get potholes in our roads like you guys get, right? So we don't get floods typically. We get flash floods, but we just don't have some of these natural disaster issues that you guys have that is funded.
Most of the property taxes, I mean, they go to pay the schools. They don't go to pay the roads and stuff. I mean, like they'll have we haven't had a snowfall like this in maybe 20 years. Like
right.
in DC, it's been 80, something like that. I mean, usually here they'll have one snowfall every year at the most, and it's decent snow. I mean, it's not a ton, but
I know it's rare, but here property taxes are just, I mean, there's to go to schools. I will say this about Arizona. Arizona schools aren't as good as what I think they could be.
Yeah.
They're just not.
So you guys don't have grass in your backyards?
We do. A lot of people do. See, you're being a hater.
Well, when I was in Scottsdale, it was it's stupid hot.
Yeah, it is hot. There's no question about it.
But it's a dry heat.
Yeah.
Once it gets to be 110, there ain't no such thing.
Now, up to 110 is not bad. 115, yeah, okay, it gets nuts. But the heat when I was in Scottsdale speaking at a conference last year, and I mean it was only 100, but it felt worse than when it was 115 in Vegas.
What time of year were you here?
July-ish maybe.
Yeah, the humidity. We get that southern, from the Gulf or whatever, and the humidity gets unbearable. It's kind of like in Houston, Texas, or something like. It's kind of crazy when you have 105, 110 degrees with 70% humidity. It's pretty bad. That's pretty bad. That's our worst time of year. We got from July to September. That's our worst time of year. And then after that, it's pretty good, man. I mean, like right now, it's like 72 degrees or something like that. It's beautiful, man. It's 50 at night, 45, whatever, kind of crisp morning or whatever.
I hope it snows on you.
Well, it does. 2 hours north in Flagstaff, it snows quite a bit. Kind of crazy. But right now it's beautiful. So this time of year, Barrett Jackson, I think, is going on this year. Maybe it was last weekend or this weekend. We got the golf tournament. That's why all these out of state kind of things happen in Arizona this time of year. This is a real busy time in Phoenix.
Yeah. And actually, I will be speaking in Phoenix in end of February.
Oh, cool, man. Look me up, man.
Will do. I'll be at the in Scottsdale, not the, how was it? It wasn't at the Phoenician. It was some other high-end one.
Princess?
No. I remember. I stayed there before.
There are boulders. I mean, there's all kinds.
It's pretty cool there.
Yeah, there's quite a few. We're like one of the capitals in the country for resorts.
There's a place next to like the Jimmy Buffett restaurant.
Jimmy Buffett restaurant. Man, you're stumping me, dude.
Hey, while you're stumped, I'm going to check out because it is time for me to roll for my next appointment.
Yeah, no worries, man. I'm gonna jet here in just a few minutes too. I don't know Jimmy Buffett. I'll catch you next week, Justin.
But thank you for all the tips. That was actually pretty cool. We got some software stuff.
Hey, no problem. You added more than I think I actually put in there. So thanks for hanging around. I will chat with you guys later, man. Have a good one.
All right, man. I'll see you next week, buddy.
Yep. Bye.
I've been using Google Cardboard, Max.
Yeah. So what is Cardboard exactly?
So Cardboard is Google's virtual reality thing. They send it to you. It's a piece of cardboard with two lenses that you put your phone into, and then you have a virtual reality experience.
Oh, okay.
And that cardboard can be branded to you. So you can put, advertising or whatever on it. And then when you look at pictures, it splits your screen in half so that your eyes see one part of the screen and then the other, which then when your brain puts it together, it looks 3D. And so it's kind of Galaxy had that for Christmas. They had that virtual reality headgear thing.
Yes.
It's Google's version of that. It's just cardboard and it's much cheaper.
Okay.
But it's kind of it's I think going to be a big thing because you can actually experience a house without actually having to walk through the house. Or you can experience a subdivision if the builder wants to build out. It's not like Max Headroom.
Okay.
Virtual reality. It's real virtual reality. And YouTube has some videos on it that you can actually download videos and see where other people have filmed it. Like you could
take a look at that.
Yeah, look at 360-degree videos. Just YouTube search that and they'll pop up. And then when the video comes up, in the lower right-hand corner of the video will be like this little cardboard or this little kind of mask with two circles in it. That's the Google Cardboard. And if you click on it, it splits the image in half or the video in half. And then you can put it in the cardboard and watch the video through cardboard.
The Westin Kierland.
Oh, yeah, Westin Kierland. That's right down the road from where I'm at right now.
Okay.
That's not very far at all. Yeah, on Greenway. Yeah, it's pretty. That's a nice place.
Yeah, plenty of stuff to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Good golf course too.
I don't golf.
I used to golf in high school, but not anymore.
Okay.
All right, man. Well, look me up, dude. When you're out here, come by and say hello, man.
I will absolutely do that, but I'm sure I'll see you soon. Anywho.
Yeah, I'll try to make your blab, man. I'll pop.
I just scheduled it, so it's gonna be 4:15.
Yep, I subscribed. I'm there.
Right. Awesome. Thank you so much.
All right, dude.
I'll talk to you soon.
All right, see you, man.